Chris Simpson, the MMA Mindset, with, not UFC newcomer anymore because we've got that second fight announced, but I'm here with Mick Parkin. Back on a show that you spent a bit of time at as before you got to the UFC. How's it been for tonight so far on Rise and Conquer?
It's amazing to watch Rise and Conquer. Obviously, I got the UFC through Rise and Conquer, so that's good. And the amateurs are like really high level. I was just saying to my friends there, like when I started amateur, or all my friends were amateur, the level wasn't very good, I would say. Like now the level's really good. The grappling and wrestling, like definitely 100 times better. The fights tonight have been amazing. Amateurs, there's some proper wars already.
Yeah, 2 fights. First 2 fights were incredible. 2 draws in a row, which is a bit mental. So it's been fantastic. Just going to speak about obviously UFC debut, Jamal Pogue's fantastic performance from yourself. A kind of like a different style of heavyweight that you used to kind of seen in the UFC. Not so much trying to take his head off of every shot, but it was a beautiful performance. How's kind of life been since that first UFC fight for you?
It was amazing, obviously, fighting in the UFC, London especially for a debut, because obviously Vegas is not ideal, people can't get there. Obviously it's cool to fight in Vegas and stuff like that, but there'll be not many fans there, especially in the Apex. But no, it was great. Jamal, I watched him fight. I knew he was like a tough opponent. I knew he was definitely fast. But I think I stopped him looking good by my footwork and stuff like that. I thought he was a lot better than what he showed. Maybe he's a calf kicks, maybe he's sort of slowed him down, and that's what took his game away. Because when I watched him wrestle, his wrestling looked really good. But I think the leg definitely played a part in that. But that was a dream debut. Great to be in the UFC London, and obviously Vegas is probably second best place to fight after London.
Yeah, definitely. And then obviously next opponent, not officially announced by the UFC, but on his Tapology page. How much do you know about the guy? Came up through the Contender Series like yourself. How much do you know about him, and have you got any specific plans to maybe deal with any threats that he poses?
I saw him fight on the Contender Series and win, which I think he won like late last year. I think he won,
yeah.
So he was quite like active to turn around and fight again. Because I thought he must have won it like earlier, but I definitely seen him fight. Obviously, got matched with him, watched him, and he's like probably more of a typical heavyweight. He's like definitely dangerous. What I would say, he definitely looks more like a striker. I think it's quite a good matchup for me, the way I fight, so I think it should be like a good fight, really.
Yeah, it should be a cracking fight. And how has kind of like life changed for you since being in the UFC, getting that contract off the Contender Series?
Nothing's really changed, you know. I still just train the same. Like, if anything, I've always trained pretty similar, like twice a day. I've always trained like a high-level pro, really. So not much really. I just keep training. Like I don't think I'm nowhere near like there yet. You know what I mean? Like nothing's changed. I haven't made it yet. Just first fight in the UFC, so I've still got to keep getting better. That's what's good is I kind of like sort of think I'm there because I'm not. I'm still loads of way to go.
Yeah, and obviously if you get through this fight and look as good as you did in your last fight, I think there'll be quite a few more eyes on you as well. Looking at 2024, kind of into the later parts of 2024, maybe getting a couple of fights next year. Is there any goals that you've got for yourself, or maybe any wanting to break into that top 15? Because the UFC heavyweight division, it's a bit top heavy at the moment. There's room for manoeuvre up into that top 15. Is that kind of maybe what you're looking for the end of 2024, to get in that top 15, top 20?
So I'll just take every fight as it comes. I would like to take me time because obviously still only had like 7 pro fights. It's been my 8th pro fight. I'm sort of learning on the job now. So I definitely would say I'll take it slow, but I do know there's not that many heavyweights. So if you win 4 or 5 on the belt, you're sort of like up there anyway. So the UFC's been good. I think the matchups are fair to both people. Like I think my first fight, Jamal will fancy himself. I think it was fair to him. This fight, the guy will fancy himself. It's fair. Obviously, I think when these two, I still think they'll be like Contender Series winners. Maybe sort of 2 or 3 fights in there. I think they just sort of at the beginning build you. So like if like say I win the next 4, they'll build me. If the Contender Series guy wins it, they'll sort of build you. So they're definitely good in that aspect. So I think just take every fight as it comes. Like I'm obviously doing okay at the minute the way I'm going. Just started training back down Wigan with Tom Aspinall and all of the big guys down there. So just start like getting into like sparring and everything. But no, so just obviously we'll be great at top 15, but like I think just take me time at the minute, and obviously, but I do know heavyweight, you definitely fast track quicker than like if you're a lightweight or a welterweight.
Definitely. And just wanted to actually speak about training with Tom Aspinall, getting some rounds in you in for a few months. How much has that helped you kind of, and obviously helped him as well, because I think he was saying he's struggled to kind of find partners, and then obviously you've came along and he said that he's kind of learnt a lot from yourself, and obviously I bet you've learnt a lot from him too.
Oh, it was amazing. So obviously I mainly train with like Big Phil de Vries at our place, and I started going down Cowbourne training with Tom. Now obviously we've got the one thing at Wigan going on. There's about 6 or 7 heavyweights down there now, and they're quite high level and competitive. So I go down there for like 2 days a week, do some sparring down there, come back, maybe speak to Fisher, say like, oh, what I didn't get, what went wrong, stuff like that, and work on it. So it's been amazing to be around Tom. Obviously, everyone's saying him, he's killing it, and like he's been a massive help for me. The way I train, the way I perform, and just like even behind the scenes, because he's been in the UFC, he knows everybody there and stuff like that. He really massively helped us out. He did.
And I just kind of want to ask, I want a little sound clip for this at the end of the interview. Obviously, Stipe and Jones are fighting, and the only person I really see who makes any sense to kind of get that next fight would be Tom. Yep. How do you think he kind of matches up with Jon, and also, say, Stipe wins, how does he match up with Stipe?
I think he's a nightmare matchup for anybody. He moves completely different to like any heavyweight, really. Obviously, you can't write Jones off because he is great, but I do think the time to beat them would be now. They're sort of like, not over the hill, but they're definitely getting on a bit. But I do think Jones and Stipe might retire for this fight. Unless they're really like fighting, they don't have to prove anything, and they're like the heavyweights at the top now are dangerous with Tom, the Russian, Pavlovich, yeah, and they're definitely dangerous fights. So I would say them retiring. If they stop around, I think it's Tom. If they do retire, I think it'll probably have to be Tom and the Russian for like an interim belt or a proper belt. So it looks good at the top of the heavyweight division now. I think it's good, but I do think Tom's a nightmare for anybody, because like, everybody looks and like, you know how fast he is, and like he's got good jiu-jitsu, but when you're in there with him, it's like he is fast. Like I think people get a shock, like, oh my god, he's really fast. So, and he can grapple as well. I don't think he's even shown much of his grappling really. So it's definitely a bad matchup for anybody, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. But no, I can't wait to see that. Can't wait to see your fight. Thank you very much for talking to me, mate. You're a star. Thank you, mate.